What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Seattle Emeralds MyNBA series here. We are in Season 2, slowly but surely creeping up towards what could be a very big trade deadline for this Emeralds franchise. I've got a couple of moves that I'm going to discuss with you guys at the end of this episode. I'd love to hear your feedback because I think some of these moves, they make sense, and some of them are kind of a bit of a risk on our part, but I think they might be a good move to make. Today, though, we're going to be taking on the Warriors, who obviously made a big trade a few years ago. Now, I believe it was 2 seasons ago, in order to get Jimmy Butler. Butler has been pretty solid. He's, going on his 2.5 years in Golden State. Steph Curry has been good, but not as good as he always once was. I mean, he is 38 years old, but they've got a solid all-around roster. They've also got some young talent. Sebastian Valentine, the 18th overall pick from this past year's draft. Keon Jackson, Kanan Carlisle, Jamal Carter, one of the better point guard prospects in this draft, who fell all the way to the second round. That was a pretty shocking fall for the Golden State Warriors to be able to pick him up maybe as a bit of a Steph Curry mentor. I'm sorry, I called this guy Keon Jackson. I meant Ian Jackson as another young piece off the bench there. But overall, this team's core is still pretty old. They lost Jonathan Kuminga in the trade with Jimmy Butler, so Moses Moody has really taken over that role. But they still sit with a 7-game above 500 record, sitting at 20-13. They are really good, and here you see Jimmy Butler's drop-off since coming to Golden State. His first half season there, he averaged about 19 since then. Last year it was 14, and now it's all the way down to 12.7. So we'll see how Jimmy Butler plays today here in Seattle as we get another home game. Last season we didn't have a lot of home games. This year I'm making sure that we have a bunch of home games here in the Rain City Coliseum for the Emeralds as the Golden State Warriors win the tip-off. Rondé Wood, starting his first game, the second overall pick for the Emeralds, falls for a bit of a pump fake, and Draymond throws it down to start the day. I mean, if you're in your first ever start, you're going to be a little nervous. We'll blame that one on the jitters. Instead, next possession, he finds J-Dub on the cut and a dunk there behind Jimmy Butler, who went for the ball instead of defending the rim. As that one was set up beautifully. What a find by the rookie Rondé Wood. I'm very happy that he's going to be in the starting lineup now, whether he does good or not. Bad free throw there from Jalen Williams, though. Gets it ahead. Steph Curry up ahead of everyone. Hits the three. He may be 38, but that's still what you've got to worry about. The Emeralds look to respond. Jalen Williams, first 6 of the night. All by J-Dub as he has 6 points and nothing else on the stat sheet. Brandon Podziemski now on the next possession being guarded by Rondé Wood. Gets it to Moses Moody, as I mentioned. The Jonathan Kuminga replacement has really found his role on this Warriors offense. This pass to the corner to Ace Bailey hits the 3. I don't know why I was about to call Ace Bailey Avery Bradley. Thankfully, he is not a role player like Bradley now. Good pump fake, driving, kicks it out. Bobby Portis, the first signing of the offseason. One of the biggest signings so far in Emerald history, hits the long mid-range jumper. 17-16 here in the first. Both teams kind of struggling to find themselves offensively. Micic now in the game. Quick pass, skip across the court to Corey Kispert. What a pass from Micic. And Kispert, you know he's going to hit those open threes like that. 20-19. Bailey with Trace Jackson-Davis on him. ISO, Ace Bailey with the slower defender. Crossover, drives, kicks it, corner. Kispert, 3 is good. What a play by Ace Bailey. He knew he had the advantage, took advantage of that, and he was able to get a wide open shot for one of the best shooters in the NBA as we are now into the second quarter, tied up 22-all. Both teams struggling on offense. Drew Carl with a nice mid-range jumper. If he can develop that side of his ball game enough, I don't see a limitation on what Drew Carl can be in the NBA as Jimmy Butler tried a little fadeaway. Good defense by J-Dub. Going to force them to pass it out. Moody now heavily contested. End of the shot clock. He hits it. Why not? Tie the game back up with a tough mid-range jumper. 27-all. 6.5 to go. Corey Kispert, Rondé Wood, J-Dub, Batatse, and Isaiah Collier. Good screen from Batatse. J-Dub at the end of the shot clock as well. Both teams trading clutch shots at the end of the shot clock. Jalen Williams, 22 per game on the season so far, as he has been one of the best signings of the offseason, in my opinion, win or lose. Moses Moody now looking, fading, leaning, jumper, good to go. Bounces around a little bit. But that one falls eventually, and the Warriors up by 1. They have been consistently hitting their shots. Rondé Wood going to get the screen for Isaiah Collier. Collier kicks it to Wood. Long jumpers. Good. That's what we need from him. That's what we need from Rondé Wood, I should say. As he hits the long mid-range jumper now, next possession, up by 1. They're going to give it back to him. Corner 3 is good. Rondé Wood. Trying to rhyme on that one, but it is a big shot for the Rook, as he is in his first ever start. Marvin Bagley throws it down off the lob from Draymond. Both teams shooting it very, very efficiently. But still, this score is very low scoring. I mean, both teams are shooting well. Moses Moody looks to respond with a 3 of his own. I mean, you're going to leave him wide open again after how strong of a half he's had, as the Warriors are looking to try and pull away, up by 4 now. Collier drives, working on Steph, going to swing it. Ace Bailey in the corner for 3. What a shot for Ace Bailey as he hits it. And that one makes it 46-42. 5 to go in the second quarter. Bailey drives, layup, won't go. We're going to head into halftime down by 4. This one's been fun so far. Good defensive matchup for the first quarter. That second quarter, both teams kind of opened it up. Here we see our stats so far. Through a half, Ace Bailey and J-Dub with 10 respectively. They've both been shooting it pretty well. Rondé Wood with 6 and 8 and a block in his first ever start. On the Warriors side of things, it's been all Moses Moody. Draymond 6, 3, and 3. Steph Curry has been quiet, shooting at 2 of 10 and 1 of 6 from 3. So if we can continue to slow down Steph Curry, we just need to stop Moses Moody. Brandon Podziemski has a problem with that, as Jack Harlow, lookalike, hits the tough mid-range jumper to start the second half. Now 48-44. Isaiah Collier thought he was about to throw that down. Instead, he settles for the little floater at the rim. It is now 54-46. Ace Bailey drives. Ace Bailey kicks it to Furphy. Furphy for 3. Hits that one. Good set there from head coach Rajon Rondo, as Jimmy Butler is rejected. Bobby Portis, not a rim protector at all, as they scramble for it. And now 6 seconds to go. Brandon Podziemski's got to put it up. He's slowing down. 2 to go. Long 3. Please don't fall. Thank goodness. I thought that was going to go down. The Emeralds now have a chance to cut this one back to 3, or maybe even down to 2. Ace Bailey looks like he's settling for that fadeaway jumper. That's one of his signature moves at this point. As he hits that one, he's got 12 on the afternoon now. Isaiah Collier drives, kicks it. Rondé Wood looking for another 3. He was open. That was not a bad look for the rookie. But he is not able to hit that one, as now the Warriors look to extend this 4-point lead. Jimmy Butler fouled, and it rolls in. Jimmy Butler, Jalen Williams does not agree with the call, as there was a lot of contact from both guys, but Butler finishes the and one opportunity. He's going to kick their lead now to 59-53 with 5 to go in the quarter. Rondé Wood, mid-range jumper from the corner. As he hits that one. Come on, man. You got to step out a little bit. I mean, at that point, you might as well be shooting the 3 if you're shooting that long of a mid-range jumper. Moses Moody off the screen. He responds with a 3. So, right now, we're trading 2s for 3s, and we just cannot continue to do that. We need to string together some defensive stops. Down by 5, Isaiah Collier drives, floats it up over Draymond Green. Nice little push layup past the defensive hands, as it is 66-59 with about 2.5 to go in the quarter. Moses Moody, mid-range jumper is pure. Continues to dominate. I mean, I don't know what to do about Moses Moody at this point on defense. He has been dominating us all game long, as it is now 68-59. The Emeralds looking for something here in the final 2 minutes. They haven't scored in 2.5 minutes in this quarter, as it is now going up. Bailey rolls it in. That one was close to rolling off the rim, but that is a good shot to cut it back down to 7. We just need to string together some stops with 1.5 to go. Craigie gives it to Moody. Bailey hands down, and Moody lets them know. 22 on the night for Moses Moody. 8 in the third quarter alone, as Isaiah Collier drives. Jalen Williams looking for his first bucket of the night. That one's big, as we are now in the final 10 seconds to go, and it is 66-73. This third quarter's been strongly guarded and controlled by the Warriors, but Bailey is able to convert on the mid-range jumper to cut this one down to 6 heading into the fourth quarter. Drew Carl, step back jumper is good. Caught on the screen Carl gets open, and the mid-lottery pick is able to nail the three. What a shot there for the rookie. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him when he's involved in the offense. Jock Landale goes Vic Krejci from Bagley, and he hits the three. 77-71. The Warriors seem to have an answer for everything the Emeralds put up now. Carl driving on Krejci. He's going to swing it. Too bad that's Batadze. He does not shoot the three well. Pump fake by Carl. He's going to drive. Moody is there, but Carl finishes through the layup and the contact. He's got 8 on the night. This game continues to go back and forth. Buddy Hield, long-range three, wide open. The Warriors pulling away here, 84-77. Marvin Bagley driving, kicks it to Landale. It's blocked by Williams. The Emeralds got to take advantage of this possession. You don't get a lot of free possessions. Jalen Williams on the other side misses it. 7 to go as the Emeralds just give up a perfect opportunity. Buddy Hield drives, stumbling a little bit. He's going to go to Landale, who goes to Moody. 6:42 to go. Steph Curry looking for it. They're not going to give it to him. They're actually going to Moses Moody over Steph Curry. Moody, open shot. Collier contests late, but instead it's another bucket for Moses Moody as he continues to play well. Simon Fontecchio does answer on the next shot, making it back to a 7-point ball game. It is 9 now, under 6 to go. Isaiah Collier, can he cut it back to 7? He can. As we continue to go back and forth, we can't seem to get it under 7. Fontecchio, a couple of quick baskets here. 93-86 now, 94-86. It's an 8-point ball game. Ace Bailey making it at 5. Yes, he does. He's got 19, 5, and 5 on the afternoon. And the Warriors offense needs to slow down if we want to have a chance to win this. 94-89 off the missed jumper from Curry. J-Dub driving, getting to the basket. Can't get it to go, but he's fouled. And just like that, the Emeralds have a shot to get back into this one. First free throw is good. Chance to cut it now to 3. J-Dub with 16, 6, and 3, and he hits the second. So both teams playing well here on the offensive side of the ball in this third quarter. 94-91. Ace Bailey kicks it. J-Will, oh my goodness, he fumbles it. This one just got a lot more interesting. Jimmy Butler in transition. Pull up. Midi is good. 96-91. That one hurts because, I mean, he was wide open on the post and you just drop it. Jimmy Butler steals it. Now Draymond looking for the dagger. Can't get it to go. Jackson Davis rebounds it. Draymond gets it. He is not going to put it up. He's going to go back out. Trace Jackson Davis. They want to reset and run this final 5 seconds down. Podziemski, is he going to force one? Pump fake, leaning, jumper. Won't go. That one a little too close for comfort. Drew Carl is going to run the offense up the court. He is starting in the final clutch minute of this game. Carl has 8 on the afternoon. They're going to give him a screen from J-Dub. Kick it out to him. Pump fake. Great defense by the Warriors. Ace Bailey in the corner. Jab step. Podziemski covers him. Bailey jumper. It's good. 21. And he cuts it to 3 as the Warriors look for a response. Emeralds need to lock up. Curry lobs it up to Jackson Davis. And, I mean, they didn't even have to do anything. I just don't know what you got to do there to stop that one. As Ace Bailey with the quick 3. Not a good decision. The Emeralds got to foul. I mean, what are you doing? You have to foul. Ace Bailey doesn't foul Podziemski. Instead, they should have fouled Jackson Davis, but they get it to Curry, and Carl's finally going to foul Steph Curry. The Emeralds tried to force a turnover, I guess, but Steph is not going to miss at the free throw line. You would have loved to foul Draymond Green or Trace Jackson Davis, but Curry ends up going to the line, and he finishes both free throws now as the Emeralds' desperate attempt for a 3 to even make it competitive, and it's not going to fall. The Warriors advance, and they get their 21st win on this season as your Emeralds continue to downfall of this season. They are now not even close to being in the play-in at the moment. They are a couple games back still, but a solid all-around game for these guys. I mean, we really needed more from Jalen Williams. He had 17 and 7. Ace Bailey had 21. Everybody else had an okay game. I mean, there wasn't anybody that necessarily struggled. I guess you could say J Will struggled. He had 3-1, 3-1, 1, and 0, but he did only make one shot from the field. Moses Moody dominated. He was 26 and 5, 6 of 9 from 3. tough loss there. The Warriors are able to extend their record now. As, yeah, that one definitely hurts, in my opinion. I think that. But overall, I think we had a chance to win that game. Just didn't end up coming down to it. It was a tough, hard-fought contest. The Warriors just played slightly better down the stretch, and since then, it hasn't been much prettier. We got a couple of wins. We went 2-1 in our next 3, and then after that, it's been kind of a losing fest. 1 loss, 1 win, 2 losses, 2 wins, and then we went on a 3-game losing streak, losing to the Cavs by about 40, the Grizzlies by 7, and then also the Grizzlies by 6. We were able to beat the Nets, lost to the Raptors, took another loss to the Bullets, who, you know, I would like to be able to beat them, but they have this guy, Baylor Shireman, who was formerly on the Celtics, and he has been crazy good for them since coming over to Austin. Then we beat the Lakers, surprisingly, somehow. I mean, I don't really know how that happened. In this reality, they don't have Luka, and they lost LeBron, so they're not exactly a very good team. We had a back-to-back win, this time against the Rockets, which was surprising considering they're one of the best teams in the conference. Then we took an L to the Spurs. And now we're at the trade deadline. This is where everything stands. I think our dream of making the play-in tournament is slowly falling away from us right now. If we want to even get to the 10 seed, we're what? 4 games back? And that's assuming the Kings would just fall off and, you know, become one of the worst teams in the NBA. I think that is not very likely. This season is beginning to look like a bit of a mixed bag, or a loss of any chance to make the play-in tournament. And that's why I think it's about time to make a big move, or at least an interesting move at the trade deadline. Nothing that's going to make us a playoff contender. Unfortunately, I really liked what I was seeing from Drew Carl, but he is injured. He's going to be out for a little bit of time. He's already missed some time, actually. But right now, he is out with a pulled right calf muscle. So he has, you know, about 1 to 2 weeks before he is going to be able to come back, but I do like what I've seen from him. As far as everybody else on the team, there's a few guys that I'm definitely leaning towards trading. I mean, obviously, you know, Ace Bailey and Jalen Williams are both very safe, 20 and 25, both of them 87 overall. They both started every game. They stay healthy. I think that both of them are going to be on this team for many years to come. In fact, this is a contract year for Ace Bailey, so we're going to have a 2-year team option for him, which obviously we're going to accept, and we'll be able to bring him back and hopefully in 2 years or so re-sign him to a bigger deal. Corey Kispert, I'm very happy with for his contract. He's led the league in 3-pointers at some point this season, and he's been shooting it very well from 3, almost 44% from 3. I mean, you can't ask much more from that for a guy off the bench. Bobby Portis, for his contract, he's been pretty solid. I was expecting a little bit more scoring from him. He's obviously down from 15 or so a game in Milwaukee to about 12 a game. Rebounding's down. Blocks are down, but he's never really been a rim protector. Steals are actually up. He's having a pretty solid year there. Unfortunately, though, 40% from the field is about on par. It's actually kind of down from him, but last year it's pretty even. And then he's just not shooting it well from 3. 25% from 3. And he's attempting, let's see how many 3-pointers he's attempted this year. He's attempted about 209, so that's pretty much his average attempts per, you know, what you would expect from him. So Bobby Portis kind of not been a great signing for us. Isaiah Collier also a step back from what I expected. He is distributing it a little bit better, but at 4 points or 4 assists per game, 9 points per game, I was hoping for a little bit more of a step forward. His 3-point shot still it's just not there, even though I am trying to get him, you know, mentored and a little bit better from 3. I just don't think Isaiah Collier is going to develop how we wanted him to. Malik Monk has been solid, but he hasn't really played in a whole lot of games. I mean, he is technically back from injury now. He came back a few weeks ago, so we'll see how he gets back in the groove of things. He's about to hit 20 games played here as we go past the trade deadline, so I think we're going to stick with him. Johnny Furphy hasn't played a lot in the games that I actually play, but he's been pretty solid for us in the simulated games, so I'm pretty sure we're going to keep him around. Rondé Wood has been solid since starting. He didn't really play a whole lot before then. He started 17 games now. He's averaging about 7, 5.5, and, you know, doing okay things. I mean, he's not shooting it well from 3, but he is shooting pretty solid from the field, at least for a rookie center. Jay Will is another guy that I was hoping would not take a step back. And don't get me wrong, he's been solid. He hasn't been shooting it as much as last year because we've got better scores than him. He's shooting it okay. I just don't really know how long he's going to be able to come to the table. And now we get to the guys that I think are probably going to be on the move, just because I don't see them having a future with this team. And they're mostly just going to be pieces going to contending teams and pieces that are, expiring contracts, I should say. So first off, we've got Goga. Obviously, compared to last year, his role is down. He's still playing about the same amount of minutes, but he is, you know, only started the first 30 games or so. His points are down, his rebounds are down, his blocks are actually up, and his assists are actually up. He's shooting it okay from the field. I just think, you know, with a Dembona on the bench, a young guy that maybe could continue, you know, do something for this team, and then Rondae Wood starting, I think Goga Bitadze is probably just makes sense to move him. Next up, we also have Simon Fontecchio, who is 100% getting traded. I mean, his role has really been taken over, in my opinion, by Jalen Williams, because the starting power forward role was taken by Bobby Portis. We have Jay Will still as the backup, and Simon Fontecchio just hasn't found his way onto the court. He actually has lost about 9 minutes per game this season compared to last year, so he's only averaging about 3 points per game, 2 rebounds or so, and 1 assist. I do think that he is probably going to be on the move. Same thing with Micic. We just brought him in on a veteran deal or a minimum contract to kind of fill out the roster, and that's why I wanted to, you know, I'm going to now show you guys a couple of potential trades, and let me know what you guys think about these trades. I think some of them make a lot of sense, while some of them are a little bit more out there as far as the realm of realism. So the first trade that I have proposed right now, and there's going to be 2 with Simon Fontecchio involved. This first one, we're going to be sending Simon Fontecchio, Vaza Micic, and a 2020 or 2031 second-round pick, basically swapping second-round picks with the Heat. In return, we're going to get Derrick Jones Jr. I think the Miami Heat have a couple of defensive-minded power forwards already. Jaime Jaquez is pretty good on defense, and Jonathan Kuminga is really solid or really good on defense. So they don't really need a third guy like Derrick Jones Jr. to play defense from that power forward or small forward position. And they can get a offensive-minded backup who comes in, you know, maybe plays a couple minutes a game, hits a couple threes, does, you know, a little bit of that, and then also a veteran point guard who probably isn't going to find the floor a whole lot with Igor Demon and Terry Rozier, but it can never hurt to have a solid playmaker there at the backup point guard position. As for us, we bring in Derrick Jones Jr., who's not really doing much for the Miami Heat. He's only playing about 15 minutes per game. He's actually down 7 minutes per game, so he's in a situation similar to what he had in and what we have in Simon Fontecchio. I think the difference with Derrick Jones Jr. is he comes in, he's a little bit more defensive-minded. Both of our power forwards, Bobby Portis and Jalen Williams, leave a lot to be desired where it comes from athleticism, rim protection, and, you know, just perimeter defense in general. And I think Derrick Jones Jr. can bring that. And unfortunately, he is on an expiring deal, so we'd have to re-sign him if we make this trade and want to keep him. But to have him as a bit of a half-season rental and, you know, basically just get rid of 2 expiring deals, bring in another expiring deal and swap second-round picks. It doesn't do a whole lot for our future, but I think it could make the rest of this season a little bit more interesting, and maybe we would see more of a contention when we have somebody that can play defense a little bit better at that power forward position. And the second trade that I have to offer involving Simon Fontecchio, this one is a little bit more future-oriented. Now, we're going to be sending Simon Fontecchio in a 2031 second-round pick to Denver in return for Hugh Hawkins, the 32nd very last first-round pick in this past year's draft. Hawkins has not played a whole lot for the Nuggets. You know, his game highs are actually only 2 points. I think he's got a solid, you know, skill set. He's a solid shooter. He's very efficient from the mid-range. Three-point shooting is something he'll have to try and develop as he gets better across the NBA. The only problem is he's 6'11", but he can't really rim protect. He's not a great rebounder, and his defense does leave a lot to be desired. Look how awful his perimeter defense is. But he's a young guy. He's only 21. Probably could get better. Hopefully could develop a little bit better. And the Nuggets don't really need him. They're not, trying to rebuild. They're contending. They've got two other young power forwards who are probably going to be better than him all throughout their careers unless they trade them away. Aaron Gordon is 31, so he's still got plenty of time in his prime. Zeke Naji is 26 and is probably plateauing, but he's still probably going to be better than Hugh Hawkins for the foreseeable future. And then Deron Holmes is definitely going to be better than Hugh Hawkins going forward. He's a little bit better on defense. He's got solid potential, but I do like what I see as a potential player from Hugh Hawkins. He's got B+ potential. Can he get better on defense? Can he get better at finishing? That's something we'd have to try and train him and practice him to get better. In return, they just get an expiring veteran who can maybe help them on offense get, going into this playoff run. They get rid of a promising player like Hugh Hawkins, but as I mentioned, a offensively skilled veteran can be very, very vital when it comes to making a deep playoff run. So I think this trade is definitely an interesting one as far as a future perspective. But if we're looking for like a win now Seattle Emeralds perspective, we definitely want to go with like the Derrick Jones Jr. trade. But out of those two, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, or maybe see some other potential trades you guys would like me to look into, because we have a lot of ways we can go with this. Simon Fontecchio is not the greatest, but he is a very good role player that any team that's contending would probably like to make a move for, unless they're like just overstuffed at the power forward position. And the final trade, and one that is definitely a bigger trade than any of the other ones we've talked about. This is more of a let's help another team out by taking on a bad contract when we're a bad team, and also get 2 first-round picks in return. So far, we've just seen small trades. This one would really be the biggest trade we've made in this series so far. We're going to be giving up Goga, Micic, and the 2028 first-round pick we got, which is a swap worst. It's technically Utah's pick, but it's a swap worst, so I don't really feel too bad giving that up. In return, we would be taking James Harden off of the Clippers' hands now. You might be thinking he's 37. Why in the world would we do that? Or why would the Clippers do that? Because they are a rebuilding team. They're very bad right now, and he's not playing a whole lot of minutes. He's not really scoring all that well. His season high is 28, which is crazy to see. And he's got a $33 million player option next year at 38 years old. The main reason I would be doing this is because the Clippers have to give us something to take on this contract, which in turn, we could try and go for their picks. They technically own their 2027 first-round pick. It's very valuable because they're one of the worst teams, so that doesn't make much sense. They have a swap worst with the 76ers pick, so they would actually get the better of the two, or the worst of the 2 picks. Then they have their own first-round pick in 2030, and then they also have a couple second-round picks down there. Now, I didn't want to go for their pick in the next 2 seasons just because I feel like they wouldn't give that up, considering how bad they are, but we will take a unprotected Miami pick off their hands for 2030, and then a unprotected Clippers pick in 2031. So it kind of becomes a, we take on a really bad contract. We're going to give you 2 expiring deals. We're going to give you a first from Utah, or from Cleveland, which is going to be the worst of the 2 picks. And then you guys give us Harden on a bad deal, but you also give us 2 first-round picks in order to make that trade a little bit more bearable for us as a rebuilding team. I think this trade makes a whole lot of sense for both sides. The Clippers get off of that contract, and they still get to keep their pick, which is a very, very big deal. And then as far as us, we get rid of 2 guys who aren't playing. We do give up a 2028 first, but we also get 2 future first-round picks, which, let's be honest, are probably going to be put into a major trade down the road. And, added to those trades as we just continue to build our trade stockpile. That's really why this trade makes the most sense for me, in my opinion. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this. As always, these trades are hypothetical right now, but next episode, we're going to be at the trade deadline, and we're going to be making some moves, and we're going to be seeing all the moves around the NBA. So I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about this potential move. Which ones do you think we should go after? Obviously, if we do this one, we can't do the Derrick Jones Jr. trade because they want Micic as well. If we do the first one, we can't do the second trade for Hugh Hawkins. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on these potential trades and any potential trades you guys might have in mind going forward as we look into this trade deadline in the 2026 NBA season. Thank you all, though, for watching this episode. I'll get back to you next time in the trade deadline. Love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, have a great day. I'll see you next time.